Anyway, thank you, and everybody, you were wonderful. Um, Ecstasy chose it as a topic because for a lot of folks, ecstasy is a lot of different things. But for me, just the act of being creative is a form of ecstasy. And as a musician and a writer, I'm in a constant state of euphoria. So uh, I'll do a couple of poems and thank you for showing up. My book is called With Every Step I Take Two, the number two, and it's 272 pages. Hopefully you get a copy of it. And I think everything, if not everything, almost everything I read today is going to be from that book. With every step I take is sort of like a metaphor because I've been in a wheelchair for quite a few years. So anyway, with every step I take, my feet stand in dreams, run circles around the lakes in my mind, climb tropical hillsides inside forests, hidden behind the tenements and dance all sweaty. A passionate urban exorcism wrapped in cortijo magic. My feet swim through concrete and drink the wind. They sing low-down blues tunes and pray with jazz bands. My feet are poems. Every inch on my road a chant, a sacred inspiration, a song. And with every step I take, I create and create and create and create and create ecstasy. In Glen Park, um, interesting things happen sometimes with musicians, and when we lock into each other, is what we call it, and become literally one, something really powerful happens. And when we lock into each other as well as the people who are the so-called audience, even more magic happens. So this is called Ecstasy in Glen Park. My group is called Avotcja and Modupwe. Modupwe means gratitude or thank you in Yoruba. So there was a wildness in the air, a pregnant expectation as we unpacked our instruments and fell madly in tune with each other. The crowd at Bird and Beckett's didn't know what to expect. Truth was, neither did we. We just dropped the chains of ego, picked up our axes and started playing. The passion of melody wrapped itself around us, quenched our throats rather in the thirst of the sweat of our euphoria, spirit dancing from note to note. Every few bars held us like a first kiss as we melted into each other and became one. One with each other, one with the muse, one with the audience. That night we did not play music. That night the music played us. This was not just another gig. This was magic, beautiful, sacred, harmonious magic, a powerful, indescribable, transcendent magic. It was love, the purest kind of timeless love. And we were an orgy of sound. This next poem is called Oaktown Blue. It's about West Oakland, when West Oakland was the only place to be. And thanks to gentrification and other nefarious things, it looks like a bomb hit it. But this is when it was what it was and what hopefully will return to being. Oaktown Blue. They came on foot by car, riding hope on horseback by train on the plain. They came wearing faith, pockets full of dreams, running from cotton fields and chopping cane. They came running, knowing better was waiting, carrying their whole lives in paper bags, carrying guitars on their back, sacks full of tall tales and blue songs of a home they knew they'd always miss, but swore they'd never go back to. They came by ship, discharged, scars, wounds no time could heal, released from military hospitals on West Coast shores they'd never even seen, battle fatigue, confused, feeling used. And they came in droves from the wars, shell shocked and tired, looking for a home. And when they didn't find it, they built it. On any night in West Oakland, you might run into migrant workers straight out the cotton fields of Georgia, strutting their stuff and partying and bumping and grinding alongside of armies of ditch diggers, tradespeople and unemployed PhDs who were never told they were unemployable, saints and sinners from Texas and Mississippi, from Arkansas and Virginia and Maryland, the Carolinas, and even the West Indies, all dancing the way they rage. A rage and sadness hidden behind memories of clouds of cotton and buried beneath too many mountains of sugar cane and tobacco leaves. A frustrated fury, gladly forgotten and left behind to rot in deserted plantation fields. And you could hear the relief in the clubs as Big Mama Thornton took a crown and gave Oakland everything, everything. Woman gave us everything, everything she wasn't allowed to give in the South. John Lee Hooker brought the boogie out the Delta, and Bob Geddens, Ivy Joe Hunter, and Charles Brown gave us smooth. You could go right down the street and get yourself some of Beverly Stovall, Sonny Rhodes, Jimmy McCracklin, J.J. Malone, or the sophisticated sweetness of Jimmy Witherspoon, or the raw passion of L.C. Goodrock and Robinson's blues violin, or get your insides ripped out and put back together again as Etta James and Sugar Pie DeSanto tore the roof off the house. The blues didn't just slip into the Bay Area, it was like a cloud burst. The blues came in waves, powerful waves, waves as subtle as a tidal wave and as painlessly as a pregnant woman in hard labor. The blues came in oversized, raggedy overalls, sometimes sporting evening gowns and three-piece suits. It came furious, luxurious, jubilant, overworked, and underpaid, running from the clear holding on to everything they had, while others were just looking for something to hold on to. The blues came west looking for freedom land, LA, Sacramento, and San Francisco, that big city thing. Folks rocked in Russell City. Vallejo had its scene. Richmond had a kind of smooth Chi-Town sounding thing, but if you wanted a gut-wrenching, soul-taking, down-home blues, you know, the kind of church and your mama both warned you about, the kind of blues that made your hair stand on end and snatch you out of chairs and made you shout, jump after school and dance, and that good old makes you want to holler kind of blues, you have to come to Oakland. Oakland. The blues mecca of the West Coast. Scene was as wild, as sophisticated as you were. Every place, a different personality, and every night was party night where you could romance and grind or whine and cry about what you didn't have, or brag and be loud and proud and show off everything you did have, and talk about everything you wanted to be at Slim Jenkins Club, Esther's Orbits, Rum Ruthie's Inn, or Eli's Mile High. Every night an exorcism where another demon was put to rest, where you were free to be real and be downright nasty. You could show your stuff to your wet with sweat at the Rum Boogie, Christie's Grill, the Palladium Club, and all the nameless hidden around the clock juke joints, and the blues came down like rain. It fell down on everything, fell down on Oakland where blues was king, and then they came. I said they came and knocked down the cafes, tore up 7th Street. They closed the clubs, promised jobs and schools to uplift and save. They took the hood and left a wasteland full of restless spirits, ghosts, 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 ghosts running loose with plenty of reasons to sing the blues. But when everyone else goes to sleep, you can still hear them. J.C. Burris, Dottie Ivory, ZZ Hill, Mississippi Johnny Waters, hear them singing their sounds written all over every building and seeps up out of the ground. You walk on it, yours, little Johnny Taylor, Johnny Horseman, Percy Mayfield, listen. They tried to free you, they tried to hear you with their blues so strong, even Willie Bobo was singing Never Go Back to Georgia. Buddy Ace, Little Willie John, Cool Papa Sadler, Brownie McGee, Lady Margaret, and Lowell Folsom, they'll always be here, they refuse to disappear. Nothing can stop it, gentrifiers can't block it. The same folks that dance from the blues scene into the mambo sessions and back again at the California Hotel now run the Dorsey's, Locker, Bluesville, Sweet Jimmy's, and the Fifth Amendment. The same people and their children are bringing in the new. Queen Ida came two-stepping out the bayou, leading the Zydeco parade, and Sugar Pie DeSanto and John Lee Hooker never roll, and still right on top of our totem pole. There's Lady Bianca and Jesse James, E.C. Scott and Al Vaughn, Sister Monica, Bobby Webb, Gwen Avery, Little Frankie Lee, and Billy Dunn, Wally Trash, Faye Carroll, Willie G, Frankie Kelly, Johnny Talbot and Ronnie Stewart leading the caravan of all-stars into tomorrow. It's in the air we breathe, and it just keeps on coming and coming and coming and coming and coming and coming, and nothing and nobody can stop it. Other folks can keep their big heads stuck way up in the clouds, but when it all comes back down to earth, the prize is ours, and it's our jewel, and it's coming down. I say it's still coming down, Oaktown Blue. Okay, where are we on time? Let me see what's going on here. Anyway, okay, this is called In the Silence. I think a lot of people don't realize, because a lot of time the power in the music is because of where that silence is placed. Anyway, In the Silence. Creation stays in a constant state of communication, whether we choose to pay attention or not. The creatively reaching out never stops in music. The cosmic blue, the inexplicable, mystical, universal language, and its miraculous longevity and growth is continuous. A flamboyantly secretive cycle, a mysterious declaration of an everlasting recreation of itself. We who don't even know ourselves know creation by many names, but shrewd old Mother Nature and all her manifestations doesn't care what we call she, her, him, it, and is always talking and singing nonstop, always reaching, always speaking to all of us all the time. And she never takes a break. Won't close her all-seeing eyes and refuses to go to sleep. Mother Nature is a notorious chatterbox. We can't shut her up. Comes to us whether we're ready or not, crashes deep inside the deepness of our deepest silence, sings of the divine through the feet of dancers from Suriname to Brooklyn to Africa to Bali, screams softly of the destruction of the sacred in the poetic whispers of the gentlest breeze against the bleeding bark of every uprooted tree. And whenever that light turns itself on inside our soul, it comes to us, pleading with us to grow up. This incomprehensible spirit needs us to hear and really feel the message in the music, all the music, whether it speaks to us through the silence of prayer or the powerful voice of Aretha Franklin or Pagliacci, or the dramatic storytelling of a Chinese opera, or it comes singing loudly through the thunder of Mongo's drums or in the street corner blues of some homeless musician. Sometimes it comes quickly, an inspiration, a flash, a lyrical mystic vision dancing swiftly through our psyche. And the saddest of sins is when nobody's listening. But as sure as the sun continues to rise, the wise will always recognize the music each and every time anybody's baby cries and know the raindrops are Mother Nature's saxophone. And those who the gift of creativity calls also know the smart ones wear it humbly like a loose cloak, comfortably, wear it wrapped in awe reverently, like an exquisite ancient sacred song, a holy reminder forever alive in their bones. This miraculous music is continuous, a flamboyantly healing, secretive cycle, creation's mysterious, enduring declaration of an everlasting recreation of itself. Nature is a rainbow of sound, singing to you. Do you have the courage to listen? This next poem is not in this book. It's in another book that will be coming out soon. Thank you. And for those folks that know me, I am a bona fide coffee fanatic. Anybody from a Caribbean background, it's kind of hard not to be. At first, I thought it was just because we were just coffee fanatics, but when my aunt, she explained that also one of the things is that if you're drinking coffee or tea for that matter, it's one way of making sure your water is purified. So, but I am definitely a coffee fanatic. And during when Maria literally tore Puerto Rico, I mean, to shreds, different folks have been getting stuff because up in the mountains, there's still no lights, no water, it's really bad getting stuff up there. And I didn't realize our contacts have been taking it way up to the coffee growers who were way up in the mountains. And about a month or so ago, I went to the post office box. I got this big box and opened it. All these bags of different Puerto Rican coffees fell out with a note that I never need to buy another thing of coffee. They will keep me supplied. And so when it happened, the first words out of my mouth were, "It's raining cafe," but I didn't spell it R-A-I-N. I spelled it R-E-I-G. And like, cause it's royal coffee. You haven't had coffee unless you have Puerto Rican coffee. But anyway, so it's in Spanglish, but you get the message. It's entitled "It's Raining Cafe" or Confesiones de una Cafeólica Sin Vergüenza, which means confessions of a shameless coffeeholic. Oh, and for those who don't speak any Spanish, uh, Borinquen is the name of the island before colonization, and pretty much you should get the message. Okay, way up in the mountains of Borinquen, it's raining cafe, indescribably precious gifts and little tiny coffee beans, proud and homegrown and more numerous than raindrops. Café real con un aroma sin igual, and just the scent of Café Teto transports me to El Pueblo de las Marias. This coffee is sacred, precious, delicious, a real mountain treasure. Es un licor natural y orgánico y 100% del pueblo borincano, and with every cup of Café El Mañanero and Café Lealtad, I am reborn. En las montañas de la Isla del Encanto, it's raining café. But even here, 3,595 miles away from it, the fruta sagrada del campo, I daily drink in the power of those mountains, and I am energized. Every single day when I taste the essence of Café Cibalis, I can feel the naturaleza of Cialis come alive inside my insides. And Café Oro de Puerto Rico, ay, qué rico. Café increíble con su aroma sabroso, a sacred encanto, that taste of majesty. Y con cada trago de nuestro café subo para el cielo. In the mountains of La Isla del Encanto, it's raining café. Royal coffee beans, un tesoro nacional with hypnotic aromas that taste like the wildness of freedom, untamable freedom.
libre like the dirt of the mountains that gave them birth. Oh yes, I confess, I'm hooked. I get drunk with every cup of café de aquí Utuado, majestuoso tesoro sagrado de las montañas, and in my house. Tomo el sabor 100% de las montañas, and I shamelessly admit it. There's not 1 ounce of doubt in my mind. I am a proud 100% unapologetic coffeeholic, and in my house it's raining cafe, 100% from the mountains of La Isla del Encanto. This next one is in my book. Thank you. And it's called Cactus Flower. La Nanica del Nopal, and it's dedicated to a whole bunch of us because a lot of us have some mistaken ideas about us as Black women. And yeah, we've had to be tough. So um, I dedicate this to all of us, Cactus Flower. And my friend Jacqueline Yvonne definitely deserves this mention in this one. The cactus, a remarkable plant, sister to Black woman who too has been made prickly and hard on the outside, but somehow still remains on the inside soft and gentle. And where there is no visible water, you can always drink from her, for she is a reservoir of water and life, even in the driest and deadliest of deserts. And when you need protection, you can always depend on her, for she is as dangerous as the angry machete. And when hunger strikes, she is the finest and tastiest of food. She is at the same time both medicine and nourishment. The cactus is strong and unbelievably adaptable. It is impossible to destroy her as she leaves, as she, excuse me, it is impossible to destroy her as she is self-sustaining when necessary. She leaves her seed everywhere and her children go under any and all conditions. She blooms in both the snow and the nighttime, and her flowers are always beautiful. She is indomitable. All this is to say congratulations, my sister, Cactus Lady. You deserve 2 awards, one for your art, which feeds our soul, and another for your cactus-like endurance, which feeds our dignity and pride. By our mommy, you have spread your seeds well. And in my book, I do a lot of stuff about nature. I'm definitely a old environmentalist, but you know, human beings are unbelievably sick and do crazy things, but Mother Nature has her own way of saying, okay, you've gone overboard a little bit too much. So this is called Mother Nature's revenge. Because all she really wants is the balance. When you step over the line, you're up for some strange stuff, like a lot of these weathers or this pandemic we're having right now. Mother Nature's revenge. She was just a little flower, never bothered anybody, just sat there minding her own business. Her world was simply, quietly, simple, serene, peaceful, full of joy, and that's the way it always been. She was just a little flower, silently sitting on her hillside, surrounded by the sweet smell, the beautiful flower smell of thousands of others just like her, and life was good. She was just a little flower, special, different, unique, and like every other flower, beautifully naive, completely unaware of the two-legged beast who'd stop at nothing to consume her sweetness, disturb and to dominate her life of peace, even if their greedy consumption brought about their own destruction. She was just a little flower who never bothered anyone till they came. I said they came to steal her innocence, to control her mystery and subjugate her soul, to eroticize and corporatize her beauty just to learn the secret of her bliss. She was just a little flower. She could have spared them their misery had they only come in peace, if they only had some manners, but since they didn't, she didn't. Before they even introduced themselves, they took what they wanted and polluted her paradise. All they saw was a sweet little flower, and she was sweet, real sweet, 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 opium sweet. And so was her crazy cousin Coca and her ravenous daughter Cocaine. They came, they saw, and they took, but got taken for a whole lot more, and the war was on. She was just a little flower that still grows almost as beautiful somewhere on a once peaceful hillside, while they're still crueling around, cruel whining, begging, crying, lost in their own madness, still trying to find themselves in a world going cold, still looking for a way out of their self-made hell, still searching for their souls. Anyway, yeah, you got to be careful when you mess with nature because she ain't playing. And every flower is not just a little passive, beautiful thing. So anyway, let's see, what are we doing here? Aha, okay. I guess I got 1 minute. So um, I guess talking about ecstasy. This is called Music is My Name. Sweet freedom, I have walked hand in hand with your melody. Across hilltops, I've run with the wind. I've sung the sounds that the first snows bring under trees that dance with no fear of hungry axes. I traded songs with a friendly lizard, even he could hear me. I made love in the grass with the B flat that holds the universe together. And when the leaves sway, it's only me moving somewhere. And when the wind blows, it's just me whistling the blues. And when I die, bury me with an eighth note so I won't be lonely. Cover my body with sheet music and I will caress it even in death. Don't cry at my funeral, serenade me on my way. Stick your hands in the paint of melody and color me music. Make the unmistakable flavor of my spirit another poetic spice on the path to forever. Let it all begin again right here. Sing to me, party with me, dance for me, and mambo me passionately. Ay, Dios mío. Uh, oh my goodness, my timer went off. Okay, where am I at here? Let's see. Sing to me, party with me, dance for me, and mambo me passionately into that always present sphere. Consciously conjure me musically. Make sure those other folks can't conveniently forget me. Make sure they remember the word song that is me. The blue harmonic gift of existence is my legacy. Hold tight to the wild gospel-like spirit of jazz in me. Make sure they know that I've always been the kind that won't be quiet, an uncontrollable, sassy vibration, a song that sings forever. I'm an in-your-face melody that will never be gone. The truth of the kubap that holds the heart of reality together is me. Been here long before the beginning began. I came, holding down the rhythm of wordplay wherever we are, always as close to you as the nearest song, a rejuvenating lyrical presence written all inside your DNA. An inescapable refrain that won't go away. I'm like La Bomba, a fire in your soul that's here to stay. Just color me music. Music is my name. And that's ecstasy for me. Thanks for listening to my words. And my book is available all over the place. I'll put a thing in the chat about my book. It's also got a couple of CDs that I'm on and our poetry series, which is usually the fourth Saturday of the month, but because of the holiday, it's going to be on the 17th, the third Saturday. Please join us. We have 4 features, and which means we only have 10 open mics. If you want to be one of them, get there early. And thank you again for your words, listening, and all the rest of it. I'm so honored to be in your presence. Thank you.